Good evening and welcome to the Roxy Files. I see we already got quite a few in the room. Hello, Shannon. Oh, my bad. Hello, Soul 7. She's
Oh,
over there
yes,
muted.
it works finally. Why is it every time we start this show, my mute button does not want to work or unwork, whatever?
No, unmute. Hello, Clayton. Hello, Diana.
Hello, Clayton and Diana. I don't know why I'm saying that. It's fine.
You sing everything, dear.
Sometimes it's true.
Well, welcome, everybody. Part of our message tonight is we are going to go back and review for the new kids on the bus. Shannon and I had a conversation, and as we know, as we go through this, there are, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm still sounding like a frog, but anyway, I'll get better eventually. But there are new kids on the bus that are new to all of this, and we don't want any of them to suffer PTSD or cognitive dissonance from the overload of information.
Yes.
Because Shannon has a friend who you guys met on here, and is newly awakened, and it shows you the struggle that some go through trying to understand that this is more than a two-party system. Hey, Kent, that there's more going on than right and left or black and white or Republican and Democrat, that this is so much more, and that you basically have to unlearn and unprogram everything that you've been taught. Shannon, can you message our two people and let them know we're live? I forgot to send text.
Oh, yes.
Waking God's child will like throw something at us if we haven't taken her.
No, we don't want
I'm not making my Lisa mad.
that. Heck no.
No. She might come after me. But we want to slow down and maybe go back and hit on a couple of subjects, and we've got new information about it. About things. I'm eating ice and cough drops, y'all, so I can continue to speak. But maybe talk about it and hit a little bit on it. We've discovered new things probably since the last time we spoke about it. But we figured we'd start out the gate with blood type. And Waking God's Child has a really good video about power of the blood I was watching today. She sent over. Yes, I know you're already listening, dear, but I'm making sure I didn't get in trouble for not texting. Because I'm already listening. I forgot last week. I felt like I was in trouble. Anyway, it's the only person in the world that I worry about getting in trouble with, you know? It's like, my bad. Anyway, um,
Okay.
we thought we would start with blood types. And a lot of our audience, you guys, okay, we have started to figure out, I figured out, hey, Miss K, a good way to put this is we are all reading the same book, and we just happen to be several chapters ahead of the new kids. Some of us are many, many chapters ahead. Some are getting close to the end. Some are just starting. So we got to go back and help those that are just starting. And because we don't want them to get overwhelmed, because anybody who is awake, when you woke up, it was this absolute quest for knowledge. Like when you start figuring out that it was all a lie, you got to go back and look at all the lies. So we're trying to save some from burnout, save some from overburn. So it's time to turn before you burn. We're going to back up and start at the beginning and review some things. How have you been, Shannon?
I've been hanging on. A little wiped out lately, but just doing a lot of research in between. Crazy life.
Crazy life, ain't it?
hmm
Yeah.
And getting prepared for my besties to come and hang out with me for a week.
We're on the way, sister. For anybody that doesn't know, Lisa from Waking God's Child will be joining us on the California trip. So it will now be me, Shannon, Lisa, a friend of ours, Rye, is going to be meeting us there.
And Ryan, who is also on the show, our
Yeah.
friend who's
We-
struggling, it's going to be a party.
We've got quite the crowd coming, and we've got appointments already made because I'm ready to be on the West Coast. I won't put my feet in that water, but anyway, we're gonna get the RH negative blood. There are blood types for anybody who is not sure about the difference in RH negative and RH positive. That is the rhesus factor of your blood. When they look at your blood, you either have a rhesus antigen on the outside of the blood cell or you do not. If you do not, your blood is much more rare than the majority of the world. There is only worldwide, it really depends on what country you're looking at, but we're talking about 10 to 15% in most countries top are RH negative. And there's a lot of unique anomalies with having RH negative blood. One of the first times I ever heard about it or, needed to address it in any form or fashion in my life because I'm RH negative was when I was pregnant. If you're a woman and you're RH pregnant, RH negative, it's been a long week, y'all. Roxy has had a long, long week already.
I mean, you
Anyway.
are RH pregnant in a sense.
I was. So much was for 2 years. But people who are women who are RH negative, hey, Super Dave, normally your first pregnancy will go like clockwork. It will be absolute perfection. Morning sickness will be to a minimum. Heartburn will be to a minimum. If you know what day you got pregnant, I can almost perfectly show you what day you're going to deliver within about a 72-hour window. Mine went just that way. Went into labor at 1 o'clock, gave birth at 4:30, didn't even have no drugs. Now, your second child without a RhoGAM shot, you will probably have severe issues if it even makes it to term. For some reason, women with or when the or RH negative blood type comes into play in pregnancy, the second pregnancy without the help of a RhoGAM shot will try to automatically terminate itself at 29 weeks or less. The woman's body sees that child as an invader, as a foreign invader that needs to be terminated and disposed of. That's not nothing. That is the only blood type on earth that does this. It's basically almost saying that you're selective and you only get one kid. Because prior to the RhoGAM shot, there were oodles and oodles of miscarriages. Like, I think my mom had 8 or 9 miscarriages between me and my brother. And they were 10 years. But by the time my brother comes along, and he was still born premature, she still tried to, but they ended up stopping it, and he ended up surviving. But my second child, nobody told me about the RhoGAM shot. And he terminated at 29 weeks, but they saved him. He was found in 13 ounces. There are many, many unique traits of being RH negative. Shannon, would you like to list a few of those?
Would I like to list a few of them? I mean, I know there is the extra vertebrae thing. There is, what is it? Low body heat temperature. Is it low or high?
It's low. We're
Low.
97. Most
Low
of the normal people are 98.6. We're
What about
97.
blood pressure, low blood pressure as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Low
Which
low
is,
blood pressure.
I mean, and gosh, what else was there?
Low potassium, low magnesium,
Magnesium. That was
high in copper, central hexachromia eyes, extra vertebrae. I have noticed that some people actually have like a one of the anomalies. I can't say for sure that it's related, but it seems to be prevalent that they almost have a third nipple, almost like a birthmark that looks like a third nipple, even on the men. It'll normally be like on their side or on their rib cage.
What about webbed toes?
I don't know that I've seen a lot of that when we're actually marking it down as an RH negative trait.
Okay.
But yeah, Diana, lower body temperature is definitely yep.
See, I have extremely low. See, this is the part that I've been discovering, because when we first started talking about this on the show and Roxy really got into this, I've always been under the assumption I'm O positive, and there are so many of these RH negative anomalies that I possess, but I don't understand because I'm supposedly O positive. But then I come to find out that not only can your blood type be fraudulent in a sense or whatever, because it could it could be wrong, in other words, that they actually have to retest you no matter what if you're getting an emergency surgery, because they can't trust what's on file. It's almost impossible to get a hold of these records. Like, I have tried everything. I have tried to even throw money at these people to get these records. I'll get all kinds of other records, but they won't give me my blood type. Your insurance doesn't cover getting your blood type tested. I again have tried to throw money at them to just do it. Won't let me do it. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous how impossible it is to find out what your real blood type is in this day and age. Which then kind of makes me wonder a little bit if the sticky pokey thing, and the stuff that got added in bloodline wise, if that's kind of why they are so hush hush on sharing people's stuff. I don't know. It was a thought.
Well, for anybody that's curious, you can type it at home. I'm not going to say it's 100% accurate, but it's not that hard if you follow the directions. Hey Tina, hey Drift, hey Mike. This is on Amazon. You can get like a one person one test kit. It's like $10. It's not that hard. There's a card. Just read your directions really, really well when you do it. And it gives you pictures. Depending upon what the picture looks like, you can type your blood. You can usually get pretty close. Now I'm not going to say that's enough for medical standards, but it can help you.
Well, then, right, Lisa from Waking God's Child today kind of blew my mind, because I saw a little bit that you could have both negative and positive from both parental parties, and that it can, in some cases, your negative can mimic as a positive. And that just kind of blew my mind. It just brought shapeshifter thoughts to my brain.
Well,
And I'm like, what if I am both? What if a lot of us are both and don't even know it? Because it
and I've really been trying to, because as we know, everything we've ever learned or been taught or programmed, should I say, we have to kind of unlearn and start fresh. One of the biggest things in that, when you're reading your book with us, because we're all in this big book club together now, And when you're reading your book and you're in your chapters, you have to keep in mind that you have to unprogram from what you've been taught before and come in every situation with a open blank space mindset with discernment to use a combination of the Bible, a complete Ethiopian Bible with all of the books, with that knowledge, as well as the knowledge of history and the discernment to put those two together.
I'm
Yes,
thinking of
Diana,
getting a
puff,
Sep-
puff, pass.
I'm also thinking of getting a Septuagint.
Diana reminded us this time to puff, puff, pass. So I'll
I
get another
I
cough drop on
appreciate that. Thank you.
that.
You're messing up the rotation.
Messing up rotations,
Of
brother.
course, that's not exactly how I say it, but yeah.
Just wait till I get to California.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a haze around that cabin. Anyway, we have to remember to try to put all. It's about time you got here, buddy. I was waiting on you, Big E. You're late. Had me all heartbroken over here. About to cry, wondering where you was at. Come dragging in at the last minute like you don't love me. We have to remember to look at everything from multiple factors. And when you're down these rabbit holes and you're being overwhelmed and consumed by the amount of information, it you gotta just breathe a minute because there's some of it that will blow your mind.
Yeah, like
And especially when, because
negatives.
what?
I like shape shifting blood. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have to look at the science that we know they have today. So then we go back at the fact of how long have they been tracking us? Why have they been tracking us by blood type and everything else? Well, if they weren't tracking genetics and blood type, there wouldn't be a company called 23andMe. Because I can promise you, they did not make that company to help you find your seventh lost cousin whose family moved to Arizona 60 years ago.
Mhm.
They don't give a flying rat's turd about your seventh cousin, okay? They're hunting particular cattle.
Oh no, let me tell you, okay. Back in 2017, I went to Comic Con. It's a very big nerd fest in San Diego. It's quite famous. Anyways, I went out there and they had this whole huge thing like set up outside too that you could do for free without actually having to go into the convention. And one of these activities that you could go and participate in was find out if you haven't the X-Men gene. So you could go in for free, get your DNA swabbed by a real nurse or a real medical practitioner and find out, of course, weeks later, if you have the X-Men gene, supposedly, and get a free t-shirt for it.
Well, I actually came across another thing the other day because part of the thing I've been looking at the Epstein files, this dude had the best minds in the world at Harvard and Yale and all these research foundations at his disposal. And we're going to dive more into Epstein on another episode. We're not going to do too much tonight because we could stay there all night long with Satan's hemorrhoid and talk about him. But so, I'm kind of digging through there to see what they were interested in, what were they tracking. And just an FYI, they were tracking everything.
Mm-hmm.
If you are looking for special skills or talent in a particular set of people, and we'll think about this like the newest generation, 30 and younger, they've all grown up on Call of Duty. Well, if you were going to train a military force to remote drive drones and to be remote fight soldiers that were operating a robot across the sea, and they were sitting in a room with a big screen TV on some military base. Well, they've done a real good job of that with video games. Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, Gears of War, Halo, all of those games. Because you have taken the physical portion out of it, and anybody can get behind there. It all depends on what their attention and focus is. But when you start talking about blood types that were tracked, blood holds power. One one skin cell, one skin cell, one flake of skin can hold 1 terabyte of data that can be uploaded and downloaded. It can be accessed. They've already done the papers on it. It's out there. So if one skin cell can hold that much information, imagine what your DNA holds. And I think my theory, part of this awakening process is your DNA being activated. The code is being activated. And I think Shannon and I have figured some things out about the windows. Because I've had quite the experience here lately with a 9-year-old after a little experiment in the yard, who 2 weeks ago was only concerned about her American Life doll, what color Crocs she had, and if her little friend could come over. And out of the blue, after this little experiment we had, a couple hours later, she come back to me and explained to me that she wanted to know what the microbiology was of the human body. Why does it work? How does it work? And she needed diagrams.
Diagrams. That's
Diagrams. She needed visuals to go along with it. Now, we're not talking about how does your body work. She wanted to know what the liver did, what the lungs done, what the pancreas does. Why do you have an appendix? What does your gallbladder do? Why do your intestines look like your brain? Why do your lungs look like a tree if you flip it upside down? This is a 9-year-old who cared about Barbie dolls 2 weeks ago. And this all came after me and her was goofing around in the front yard. I was standing there barefooted, and I told her to take her shoes off and come to me. And we kind of like put our hands palm to palm, and we leaned over forehead to forehead. And I was looking in her eyes, and she was looking in my eyes. Listen, my baby understands that there were no dinosaurs, that they were dragons. So she was just kind of standing there giggling and looking at me. And 2 hours later is when all of this started. So I don't know what happened, but something happened. Yes, Jesus does love you, Liquid Smooth. You don't. Oh my gosh, we love you. We do. We must have a bot that's got to be knocked out of here. Liquid Smooth.
What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah, get him, Mike. I think Liquid Smooth might be a bot. I don't know.
Oh, are we that cool that we get bots now?
I guess. We actually got a bot.
Take that. Take that.
Get him, Sniper. Get him. Listen, we like sniper practice around here. We call out the targets for Mike, and Mike takes them out. Get him, boy. Diana can get him too. She's a mod. Get them, guys. But anyway, it's a lot. It's a lot of information when you're walking into this, that just your blood type can mean everything about where you came from, who you came from. And like RH negative has its own set of medical anomalies. I'm RH negative. I had cancer. I had to do twice as much chemo as everybody else. And I had a cancer that was like 80% the chance of being cured. This was before we knew about ivermectin and cancerous parasites. Any new listeners, if you don't know, cancer is parasites. Get you a good anti-parasitic schedule and you'll protect yourself.
And antifungal, which one of these days I would like to go into a little bit more.
Yeah, we need to go back to a good system cleanse and detox, some options and regimens, some natural stuff. But we Depending upon your blood type. Okay, I don't know if people have ever heard, but redheaded people, they have extremely hard times with anesthesia on people who are redheaded. Like only mainly, not only, but I think maybe only, but people of color get sickle cell anemia. There's all kind of different things that come with each genetic makeup of people.
And white people get the skin of the Sahara Desert.
Yes.
No,
Freckles.
it's so
Yes, we
sad.
are more prone to autoimmune diseases as a Rh negative for some reason.
Huh. See,
See, some of these medical anomalies that I have, like the extra vertebrae in my pelvis, they told my mom I started having lower back problems when I was 10, 12 years old. But I'm not gonna lie, we partly thought that was because of my physique, because I'm very, very sway back. Well, thanks to the horrors I found in Satan's hemorrhoids medical files, that they actually pursue women who have a particular tilt to their pelvis, to sway back women. There's a particular degree that they look for, the extreme. And what was it I said? It was Nigerian genetics, I think it was. So evidently, somewhere down the line, there's some Nigerian in Roxy, because I almost look like I've been bent in half. I'm so sway back, like not handicapped sway back, just like stripper pole sway back. That's the best way I can put it. But I was like that at 12, and the ding dong doctor my mom took me to, who doesn't have a medical license anymore, put me in like this plaster elastic thing that went from below my hip bones to my ribs. It was one of the most uncomfortable things I ever did not wear in my life, because she would strap that thing on me, and by the time I got on the school bus, it was in the backpack. But there's some very specific traits. Like with me, medications don't work. I don't care what it is. When I went through cancer, it didn't matter if it was the antibiotics or the pain meds, they weren't going to work. No drug works on me. Thank God I never tried street drugs, because I'd have probably been broke. Because, like, I ain't gonna lie, there's been times in my life that, I had tried things and I'm like, really? Y'all put money in this stuff? For what purpose, please? It always has the opposite effect on me as it does other people. So, there's a lot to your blood type. And I think your blood type goes all the way back to the beginning of time and who you're attached to. Um, we hear many stories about how these bloodlines might have diverged or came about, because there's O, A, B, and AB. There are very particular combinations that if the parents are this, they can have that. If they're not this, they can't have that. So you just have to get a graph down. Rapture ready. You need to try something else, honey. There's some natural alternatives that are fixing to be coming out, but there's some very good natural plants. There's actually some weeds that are growing in your yard that are probably better for using whatever they're giving you. But I've been there and I've done that because I went through cancer and couldn't walk when I did it. For anybody that okay, if you've ever been sick, it doesn't matter whether you get a cold or sore throat or whatever. But when you get sick, it's almost immediate, like your bones go to aching. Your bones are hollow. Inside of your bone is bone marrow, which is where your white blood cells reside. In order for your body to repair itself, those white blood cells need to reproduce at a more rapid rate. At that rapid rate, it is then causing pressure from the inside of your bones. Think of it like pumping a bicycle tire up. It's causing pressure in there. That's why your bones ache so bad when you get sick. It's not because there's something physically wrong. That's just the the biochemical process that's going on inside of your body with your mitochondria to repair your body and heal your body. And that kind of takes us back to the methyl blue conversation we had the other day. Methylene blue is fantastic for getting your mitochondria DNA to do its thing, because we eat so many chemicals and so many poisons. It's in the water, it's in the food, it's in the air. It's in every dang, and I had to think about that word because that was not the word I wanted to use, that we consume. I literally this morning had the munchies, and I walked upstairs, and we don't buy junk food around here. And I just had the munchies. I just needed something. And I looked out there, and my daughter's got like 4 boxes of cereal. And the literal thought in my mind is, what cup of poison would I like today?
Right.
But go ahead.
No, I just went, it was a sigh. That was it.
Well, our whole body and our whole system is to keep us living and alive and strong. But if it's having to exert 10% of its energy to disposing of toxins, that's 10% of energy it could have been working on the longevity of your life. That's another thing I've been looking at in the Epstein files too. There's quite a bunch of conversations in there about different things to increase the longevity of your life. And some of them are not what I thought they would be.
Like green tea?
No, that wasn't what I was talking about, but
okay.
There's some very interesting articles in there that well, we know we keep this channel as kid friendly as possible, so we're gonna go back to talking about wrestling. You should abstain from wrestling as much as possible, because actually abstaining from wrestling, whether it be a solo activity or a partner game of wrestling, when you wrestle, normally you come to the end of the match and the bell rings. Withholding that bell ring for longer periods of time actually increases your life force. Was that discernible, everybody? So that didn't sound just totally haywire?
No, that made sense.
Okay, as long as everybody understood that. Just keep you and all your bodily fluids inside of you in that department as much as you can. Don't just be. And I honestly believe this is part of. I know we've got off topic. It's squirrel, but part of the reason of the pushing of the porn. If you think about the fact that you take a sperm and you take an egg and you make a whole nother human being, that tells you what life force is in that, what it can create, what it is capable of. So if you just out there watching all this porn on the internet all the time, and you just willy-nilly, would you, and so you're taking your own life force away. Just think about it like that.
Is this why women live longer than men?
It's a very good possibility. Very good possibility.
I just pose some questions.
Well, see now here we go. We're on another squirrel. I'm not ashamed to admit that I am 51 years young. And I was married to my high school sweetheart for 27 years. And so, in my young adult formative years of knowing about the technical aspects of wrestling were never taught to me. It was a very blind event I went into, and just about all versions of nature. But it let's see, it was as I've gotten older, and now there's more information out there, because see, guys don't understand this, that most females are not as exposed to the pornography as they are. And young men, a lot of them are brought up in this mindset that it's all about conquer, a notch on the belt, notch on the headboard, however you want to call it. Women are not brought up that way. Didn't used to be. But we were just told that we weren't supposed to ask no questions and that you was just supposed to show up on your wedding night and pretty much just lay down and the wrestling would happen. We didn't have the internet, folks. We are pre Google generation. There was not porn on demand.
I had the exact opposite situation than you did. Both my parents were extremely open and verbal about everything, and I was exposed to a lot of things when I was little. But I get it. I just happened to be one of those rare girls who was put in that situation.
Well, and as like I said, most of us are the pre Google 12 and 14-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Because like when I was in high school in the 90s, like we had Oregon Trail, we had MS DOS computers, we were doing word processing and typing.
Take my
aggro. You were so distracting, Clayton. You were so distracting. I love you. A big Viagra, 500. Pause for this comedic break.
Hey, and whatever. They are so focused on the male side of it.
Well, see, and Viagra was not even designed for that. It was designed as a blood pressure medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Which in a side effect was it made you more ready to wrestle. So they sell it for wrestling, not for blood pressure. More people are worried about wrestling than dying of a heart attack. I mean, that's just the way the world works.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, we were on RH negative blood before them 3 squirrels come running by. Medicines don't work the same. And I don't think medications, pharmaceuticals, vitamins, nutrients, minerals, I don't think any of it works the same way on any of the same different types of blood for a reason. And everybody needs to pay more attention. That's a very interesting question, BG. I have to get back to that one I gotta write that down.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me of a terrible song. Oh God. Okay.
See, I had to write this down as a side quest now. Y'all don't understand. I have legal pads just for side quest of the things y'all say in the chat, so I can go back later and dig on that side quest. But trust me, side quests today have took us everywhere from giants to anyway. We're gonna have a big show on that because I'm gonna tell y'all we're gonna when all this stuff comes down in the end and we're in control again, the first thing, and I know who's listening out there, so sir, just listen to me. I'm gonna need one of them there LiDAR scanners. I'm gonna need a helicopter. And I got some areas I'm gonna need to go check out. That's before I go open the Smithsonian in the Vatican. Because
I'm on that one.
Because when the end comes, I'm going to tear some stuff down. I'm gonna flip some tables.
Ooh, flipping tables, taking
names. I want a big old LiDAR scanner. Just saying, sir. Put that on my list. I need a LiDAR scanner, please. Anyway.
So with all of this RH negative talk and the fact that, this seems to be such a hot topic with the elite and what they are searching for within people, within these genetic anomalies such as, hair color, blood types, eye colors, different markers that show that a child or somebody could have special abilities or different ways, of manipulation and all of that. That kind of brings us to the whole gateway programs and
Yeah.
Maltwood.
Well, see, I didn't. Okay, and this is another thing. Gate programs.
We can call it child.
Hey, Lisa. Okay. Anyway, we have cheerlead as all of our people come in one at a time.
Yep.
Um, when we start talking about the gate program, we did not, like I said, we're pre-Google, we're pre-internet kids. We've just started talking about our educational experience through the public education system, and we have just started to realize that some places did it a lot different. And I did not realize until a couple of days ago how many different versions of the gifted and talented program that they had within the school. Do you know that there are levels to the gifted and talented as to how and why you were pulled out of your class, Shannon?
That is correct. Yes, I do.
From the time you are put in kindergarten, moving forward in school, you are sorted like cattle. And we're going to keep coming back to that word cattle, because if you don't know what the word goyim is, you are one. I would suggest you go look that definition up, and that should be, if you're a new kid on the bus and you got your notepad out, baby doll, one of the first 10 things you need to look up is what is goyim, who are goyim, and am I one? Because that's number one. That's going to tell you where all of this is going. And number two, you need to figure out who Baal is and who all these people that worship him are. And once you figure that out, that'll lead you back to the satanic pedophile, baby eating, sons of biscuit eating, Satan hemorrhoids, Jeffrey Epstein and his friends. And yes, I said the words. I don't care.
Don't care.
Don't care. Ain't nobody pulling our strings. Ain't nobody paying our bills. We don't even have enough subscribers yet to get monetized for YouTube. So
Hey,
what you gonna do,
we
boo boo?
got a bot though. That was kind of exciting.
Yeah, we got a bot. We feel special. Shannon and I have come to an agreement that we are not going to curb our words anymore, and we're not going to use the lexicon any more than we have to, because people aren't angry enough. People are not pissed off enough that they are eating our children. And for anybody new, another word you need to add to your list of things you need to go look up, it is adrenochrome. ADRENOCHROME. Not only do you need to know what it is, you need to know how, when, and why it is harvested, what they use it for. We'll keep giving you keywords that you need to go look into, but that one puts you right back over there with Satan's hemorrhoid. And old Billy Gates, boy.
Mhm. And even the Obama.
Yep.
I just, lost it. Squirrel.
Well, the gate program in the public schools, they understand that some of us, okay, they've been calcifying our pineal gland with fluoride and chemicals for so long. There is a purpose in that. If you could not access your pineal gland, which sits between the left and right hemisphere of your brain, right at your crista galli, which looks like Noah's Ark if you actually look at the bone. See, there's another bot.
Wait, what?
We got two. I must have said something that triggered them. Oh, no, maybe that's not a bot.
Oh, no, okay. Roxy is correct.
No, this says I'm correct. That's not a bot. Do not kick them out. Anyway, they have been calcifying your pineal gland. Your pineal gland gives you that consciousness, that Christ consciousness within yourself. to just to be a better human, to have this thirst for knowledge that you can't quench this thirst. The way you get closer to Father is through curiosity. Curiosity leads to knowledge. Knowledge and experience together give you wisdom. We are all seeking wisdom. We are all seeking knowledge. So every little thing that you learn is important. But also be careful, as a word of caution, as to whom you're learning from.
Yeah.
It is best if you find people that you can trust that are telling the truth. Find out who they're listening to, where they're researching, and what they're researching.
But so there is a very large paper trail on this Gateway program, and the type of children they searched for categorized us, and I would say even some of us since preschool and all the way up even in through college. I mean, I would say the graduation in these Gateway programs is through uh the fraternities and sororities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those are the graduation markers of these programs. But there were levels such as, there's the face of the GATE program, which is the academic side. And that's one that most people that who got the letters and all that stuff for your parents, they were in that particular side of the program. And then there were other levels and tiers within that program that also added in other things like encoding and puzzles and different types of altered states of the mind and uh, telepathy and things along those kinds of lines. And then, but part of that program was stretched out into the other levels. There were other levels having to do with the creative arts, with leadership, with even the physical sports, the athletes, for the physical prowess. There were different tiers and different categories that they put you in. And some of them were tested more in other special abilities than others. But depending on the program levels would depend on what they believed you were meant to do in this beast system.
Well, and there were things that, okay, like when you started in kindergarten, when you're, kindergarten, you're just basic learning, reading, writing, colors, that kind of thing. When you get to first grade, every time you turned around, there was a test. Every day. Every time. They were testing spelling, math, how fast you could read, how fast you could do multiplication. And then that's when they start herding the cattle. Because in first grade, they've just kind of put you in there with a group of kids they thought you kind of fit with. The further you go along in school, the more filtered and steered your classmates are. And some of the GATE programs had it where they pulled you out of just your regular class and you went to the library or portable. Some of us actually got pulled out and put on buses and went to a whole different building away from all of the other kids, which is what I was doing. There was nobody else at that school. It was an old annex building. On one side of the building, there was a severely autistic kids, like the nonverbal ones in wheelchairs, and there was us, the gifted and talented kids.
See, and some of us were taken to camps for days at a time for leadership and different things along those lines.
And they told our parents that they were doing it to basically give us a leg up in the world, to get us more prepared for the world ahead. No, these fools were dosing us with MK Ultra in a little pink cup and putting headphones on us and hypnotizing us. That's why you don't remember anything.
And this even goes back to in what they categorized us in is what your parents also went through. Because
Yep.
this started, this particular program started in 57, but it was an offshoot of other things that started in the 30s. So this whole idealism has been gone is many generations. So, I found out, like with my mom, she knows German and can understand it. She can't speak it and she doesn't even know how. Like she didn't know how that was a thing. you know? I and so I don't know what programs my dad was in, but considering the gifted and talented, just whole gambit of things, it all spurred off of to what your parents were involved in because they had those records too. So generationally, and same thing with our kids, they've kept an eye on them too. And Life Touch, which I saw that
Yep.
God's Child brought up. I mean, they've had records on us for a long, long time, and they look for specific things, and that is where you are categorized in your programming.
Well, and when we were in school, like we talk about, it was pre-internet. They didn't have Facebook they could go check you out on, or TikTok, or a link tree, or anything else. Now they don't need to do all of that. I mean, we take this black mirror in our hand and put our whole life out there. Your feelings, your emotions, whether you're mad at somebody, whether you're single, and we put it all out there. Back then in school, they were tracking us with class pictures and testing scores. And I have to post it on the community board. I found the letter that you actually need to write to your school district to get your school records. The only thing I found about my gifted and talented was a letter they had written my mother that told her that I would not shut up and I asked too many questions and that I was just completely divergent of the program that they were trying to teach me. And they no longer felt like I was a fit for their program.
Wow. See, what's crazy, right? Is I talked to my mom about this a while back ago when we first all kind of got into this subject matter. And I asked her if she remembered that I had a counselor in elementary school. And I asked if she asked the school to provide one. And she's like, no. I mean, I remember you had him, but they never asked me for it. They just assigned him for you. And I know that there were maybe like 10 of us who actually went and saw this guy. And I remember having a very, I feel, inappropriate connection to him. I was
Hmm.
very obsessed with him, and he was just very, he acted, you know, I feel kind of just in an inappropriate way. But there were only like 10 of us in this whole school who went and saw him on a regular basis. They pulled us out of class to be around them. And it's just weird because again, it's not something my parents ever asked for. And I don't know if anyone else had that experience, but that I know was part of the program. I mean, it was total psychological stuff. And I mean, they knew I came from a broken family, and it just was really bizarre. And it was not stuff my mom ever divulged to the school.
Well, one of my weirdest experiences in the GATE program, and I didn't realize that's what it was at the time. Not necessarily the GATE. I knew I was in gifted and talented. Ours was called Pelican, but it was the gifted and talented. But I started having what they claimed was anxiety attacks because my gifted class, the day after I would go to my gifted class, I would have these moments where like somebody had turned the volume on the world up 1,000%. Like I could literally hear bugs walking across the floor, and I thought I was losing my noodle. And I ended up, and it always and only happened the day after my class. So it had something to do with them stupid headphones, which you can go look up what they gave us to listen to. It's called the Gateway Process. It was put out by the Monroe Institute. Um, but if you're going to listen to it, be very careful because it is a hypnosis type situation.
And it can be triggering, which I have
Yes.
found. So, you know,
Yeah. Like the first 30 seconds is PTSD. If you know, you know.
Yes.
Yes, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. And subscribe on both channels. If you're subscribed on the Roxy Files, go over and subscribe on Children of the Most High too. Because like I said, until we both get to 500, we ain't making a penny. We losing money on this hobby or spreading the Holy Spirit here.
And
some
either
knowledge.
way, it's both our channels, so it's supporting
Yeah.
both of us either
Well,
way.
we're always together, but we got two channels. In
Mhm.
case they take one of us down for not using the lexicon, we got a backup. See? We're
And
smart.
that is correct.
We got a backup, but we're always together.
And we got backups for those backups, just so you
That's right.
know.
And
Yeah.
whoever out there is listening, Mr. FBI, hope you had a good dinner. Keep listening, buddy. It'll get more interesting. But anyway, where was I at before that
You
squirrel?
know,
hut?
they're in for the giggles too. It's okay.
They are. They're just listening so they can laugh. They know the world is heavy. They do. Puff, puff, pass. Puff, puff, pass. For anybody sitting at the back of the bus that's new and you're hiding back there, you might want to look into the cannabinoid system within the human body. Anything they have told you is, it's so horrible. You might want to go back and look at it because they were hiding it for a reason. They are so good at it. But the Gifted and Talented program was more along the lines of their filtering system because they were trying to find the kids with powers. If you've seen Stranger Things and you know what 11 is, I had to stop watching Stranger Things at the moment when they put the cranial cap on 11.
Yep.
Because
PTSD.
it triggered something that I had not remembered in a long time. And I actually have scars on my scalp from it. When they put that scalp cap on you, like 11 had when they had her in the tank to test your brain activity, they actually take a piece of sandpaper. All those little nodes you see on that cap have to make contact with your skin. So they take a piece of sandpaper and everywhere it's going to make contact, they scrub your head raw. Like it bled when I went home that day. There was probably 100 of them. I got an ice cream on the way home though. But see, this happened after I was having the anxiety attack where I could hear insects walking. I could hear everybody in my classroom's heart beating, like their eyes blinking. I was seriously thinking I was hearing people's thoughts. And there's a good possibility I might have been. But I was also 10 years old and freaked out. They told me I was having panic attacks, and it happened a couple of times. And the next thing I knew, they had scheduled my mom to take me to see a specialist. What I now realize is that specialist was not at a doctor. It was at a military base. I now know what military base that was.
Which one?
We're not going to talk about that on the air yet. We're going to get them ducks in a row before we bust that one out. But anyway, because
I know I can say I was at Norton Air Force Base. That's right. Not afraid to say it.
I'm not afraid to say it, but
Norton Air Force Base.
I want to know what kind of programs they had at that Air Force Base before I out it, because I want to make sure I'm going forward with a clear, unfiltered view of this.
I luckily have someone who can verify everything. His name is Ray. He's been on the Supernatural show before. Really good dude. He worked to get rid of said pedos in the 80s and 90s. He's an awesome guy. But he can also verify that, yes, Norton Air Force Base, San Bernardino, California. I'm going to say that very loud and clear.
Well, they tried to make out to my mom, from the best I can remember, that They weren't quite sure what was going on, that they thought it was like basically pressure inside of my head, so to speak, or my spinal column. So they take me up there and they want to do brain scans because they want to know why my brain's behaving this way. And whatever they did, they must have reprogrammed or zapped me, because after I went to that military base, I don't remember having any of the panic attacks or anxiety, whatever they wanted to call it, that were that severe again. The ones I had were very mild and they kind of ease off over time. But like I literally thought that I was losing my noodle when those moments happened, especially as a 10-year-old. And but see, they don't tell you they're doing that and experimenting on your children.
Mhm.
And the little pink drink that they gave you when you went into class, you can equate that to Men in Black, the little blinky light that you look at the right doses of MK Ultra with a little bit of Pepto, so that the MK doesn't dissipate too quickly and it doesn't irritate the stomach. They tell you it's for your teeth, but it's fluoride, MK Ultra, and Pepto Bismol, isn't it, Shannon?
Mm. Yeah, with that MK, it's got a little cocktail of its own. And, between that and the binaural beats in the headphones, it's a memory eraser. And let me explain this, because this isn't talked about very often, but there is the false memory thing as well. This is a huge thing. I know for a fact that they had implanted false memories in a good portion of us. Within the process with the headphones and the other stuff, towards the end of the sessions, all they have to do is hypnotically suggest a scenario that you then think is reality. And
Why, Shannon, would you be speaking of Mall World by chance?
well, Mall World is definitely part of that. That's more in your subconscious when you sleep. We're gonna put you through training and steal your creative abilities for our metaverse thing.
And they implanted us with memories of malls and back rooms and water parks, and they did this for road mapping, GPSing, so to speak, because one of the qualities and attributes that they look at, especially of children who have particular blood types or are gifted or seem to be really smart, they want to know what our superpower is. And if you don't think you don't have a superpower, you are completely mistaken and you just ain't figured it out yet. The things that you've seen in movies about telepathy, telekinesis, astral projection, remote viewing, all of those types of things are very possible with enough focus. And when they use remote viewers, they do it in pairs because you have a better predictability of a projected physical point of viewing when you have two people focused on the same thing. So if they know that focusing two people's mind on the same point creates a higher probability of the outcome of that equation, what do you think all of us are capable of if we set our mind to the positive? No matter how much horror and just misery and, like we say, baby eating pedophiles there are out there, if we all set our mind to positive things, to loving one another, to spreading the word of our Father, to teaching our fellow man that you don't have to go down to the Frontage Road Baptist Church on Sunday to be a Christian, that's not what it's about, that we're not supposed to be following Jesus. We were supposed to be like Jesus. He was showing us how to live. He was not coming here to be a mega church. That's not what he was after. He was trying to show us what was within us that the Father had bestowed upon us, that we had the access and the ability to use to be more like him. Sorry, I got on the soapbox. My bad.
You are always welcome upon the soapbox. The soapbox loves you.
Well, I get so frustrated sometimes with the whole, you got to go down to the Baptist church on the frontage road. And this is one of the things I've talked about with Shannon. The West Coast is going to be a little bit of a culture shock for me.
It's just
A lot of a culture shock for me. And for the West Coast, I'm sorry, but it's going to be. We're going to set up a GoFundMe as a backup plan for bail money. But anyway, I'm just not quite sure how well I'm going to mesh with these Democrats, liberal people. With
there.
Girl, there's a lot more spread out than
Oh,
the
I know.
media likes to tell you. There,
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Yes, we have we have a little bit of everybody. That is a for sure thing. I would say I am fortunate in that regard to have gotten to be exposed to such a wide variety of different type of people. But what has happened in California is because Hollywood and San Francisco and Simi Valley and all of that kind of is just such a big giant like worldwide machine. California has exploded with so many people trying to get here to be a part of it.
well, see, I won't never forget. My dad was a very, very unique Southern man, and he had his own beliefs. If it would have been up to my dad, we would have probably lived in 1957 forever. I
Mhm.
know that was his favorite year. I don't know why, but 1957 was his favorite year for some reason. He thought the world was so cool. But my dad was a mechanic, and he probably drank a half gallon of VO a week. We worked on race cars, and he drank VO. And I had a fantastic childhood with my dad. Like that man, when you hear that little voice in your head of like who's giving you advice, it's my dad. And occasionally I feel him slap me in the back of the head and tell me to hold the flashlight. Like be still. Because that's who my little voice on my shoulder is Roscoe. But I won't never forget when, TV and cable TV, see where I'm at, like having more than 4 channels of TV didn't happen until I was probably late middle school, early high school.
Mhm.
And we had MTV. And I'll never forget there was this guy, it's a music video, and he comes walking across the screen, and he was kind of dressed like punk rock, and he had this spiked mohawk, and each spike you could barely reach your hand around it, and it was like lime green and black, and he had earrings everywhere and like leather clothes. We hadn't seen nothing like that
Yes.
around here. My
Oh
dad
my
said,
gosh.
"Oh my God, they put that handicapped boy in that video."
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. My daddy said that boy was handicapped.
Girl,
He
I'm
said
in
that
Southern
my daddy said it was not nice to make fun of handicapped children.
Oh, wow. That is so funny because I mean, I grew up on MTV literally. And I mean, my was in the hair
Not the
business
South,
with
honey.
my mom. I mean, I was been around it all.
This is what I'm trying to tell you about the household that I was raised in. We didn't do nothing but Conway Tweedy, Jeannie Pruitt, Dolly Parton, Glenn Campbell. Like we was old country. And the Bee Gees, my daddy said the Bee Gees was homosexuals. We were not listening to their music.
Oh wow.
I mean, it was just, it's a country thing. And like Shannon and I have had a conversation, East Coast, West Coast, like satanic, Satanism, people worshiping Satan. I still remember in high school that we thought it was just some stupid joke that you read about in the Inquirer, that to be sure nobody actually worshiped the devil. Like, why
Oh,
would you worship the devil? Merle Haggard, yes. Some Jones. Anyway, I could listen
yeah.
to Merle all
I
night.
grew up in a literal town where it was widely known that was a practice in
Oh,
these
no.
parts.
No, not around here, honey.
It's very obvious.
Mm-mm.
I mean, again, and here's the thing, right? This is what I like to remind people a lot. Okay. People get so caught up, not our audience, obviously, but people really get caught up in celebrities. And there's a big, huge problem of idolatry with this. And everybody in the mainstream, in a general whole, wants to be somebody famous, and they think coming out to Hollywood, they're going to be able to make it, right? And this is where we get a lot of trafficking issues. We have one of the biggest trafficking just machine is through that industry. And there's been a lot of stories that have come out about certain people. That's not just the diddler. Okay. We're talking other rap artists who aren't even that mainstream, who have pretty much kidnapped people who came in thinking they were going to collaborate with said person, and would kidnap them and basically traffic them. There's a few people who have gotten out of the situation and exposed that. This
Oh,
is a huge thing. So when people, a lot this especially with our youth, okay, and this is going for the big YouTubers too, because they're the big time ones are a big part of this too, and they're opening it up. These kids are online thinking they're going to go to Hollywood to come and collaborate with so and so. They're more than likely going to be trafficked. So make sure that the youth around you no, don't get involved with trying to collaborate with these people,
well,
because
I'm going to take that squirrel back to where we started, since we're talking about the diddler there.
Mhm.
We started out with blood, and I got a diddler fact that we talked about today.
Oh yeah.
The diddler. We're gonna get back to who's Satan's hemorrhoid, and for anybody in the crowd that just got on the bus, that is Jeffrey Epstein. We call him Satan's hemorrhoid, or at least I do, because he's something. He's a pain in the ass that you can never get rid of. People like that, they're just monsters. But these people, who's the best we can tell, are vampires, like vampires, literal vampires. I have taken this all the way back to Vlad the Impaler, Genghis Khan, the Ottoman empires. That's where we're going. If you want to know about the world you live in today, you need to go back 1,000 years ago and figure out what the history was. Because the men that wrote the history books, the winners write the story. So the story's going to be whatever they want it to be, however they want it to read, and however they want to program you. So don't believe their bull. Go back as far as you can. Start at the beginning and work your way back forward. And the whole world will be a different concept when you realize that the history you were taught was a lie. But anyway, we're pretty sure they're vampires. Well, no, we know they're vampires. Satanic, pedophile, baby eating vampires. Just so I said that for the fourth time so I can be banned. Everybody heard it.
Are we double daring? Is this what's going on?
I mean, I'm just hedging my bets at this point. I'm quite sure my straitjacket and my government watch list is out there somewhere. So just Adding to the fanfare. Send flowers and honey bun money in whatever institution they put me in. But these people actually have blood donors. They seek people who are of whatever particular blood type, or Jelly Roll is a demon, Miss K, by the way.
Yeah.
He's a demon. We'll get back to him and Hoochie Mama he married. But
I don't know anything about
the
them.
diddler
But
had multiple blood donors that he paid tens of thousands of dollars a month just to have a healthy lifestyle and eat healthy food. He would text old boy and tell him that he needed a transfusion. Well, old boy would go to the airport, get on a flight to Miami, then board a yacht, and they would go out in the ocean, and they had to go so far out in that ocean before the blood transfusion would start on the deck of that yacht in the sunshine. Now, don't that just sound a little bit weird to you?
Like a big bit, maybe.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
weird.
That you have a whole group of people that you pay to eat certain foods so that once a month you can fly them to Miami on a private jet, put them on a multi-million-dollar yacht, sail several miles out into the ocean, and sit side by side and do a blood transfusion in the sun. Because if I had the money that the diddler and Satan's hemorrhoid had, I think they would have come to me at wherever I was at my hacienda. And this is a video, just another side quest squirrel. If you were interested, when we talk about that St. James Island is a speck on the radar of this operation. But I don't think people have any idea what the opulence and size of that place was. Go to YouTube and search 60 Minutes Australia St. James Island.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. There's not a lot of talking you can't see in the windows. But when you look at the landscaping and the art, and you realize what kind of money was spent to build this island. This ain't no island with old boy's beach house on it. This is a 5-star resort that has its whole side of the island with its own gas and diesel. It has its own internet. It has its own everything. Zorro Ranch is the headquarters, which just happens to be right next to Fort Wakachuka or Hukachuka, whatever you call it, where they do all the where they do the Stranger Things at, where they take us gay kids and screw with our heads.
Mm-hmm.
There is actually a content creator out there I would like to suggest to you guys if you really wanted to understand how far deep these islands and this whole storyline goes and how many countries are involved and how far in depth and how long these things have been going on. The Conspiracy Files, they have done an amazing job really deep diving into a lot of these horrific monsters and their connections and how they all connect together, and the many islands that have been involved past and present. So if you guys get a chance to really get into it, if that's something you're interested, check out the Conspiracy Files. Him and his wife, they're a great team, and they've done a lot of extensive work on a lot of these monsters that connect throughout this interweb of horribleness.
Yeah, it's horrible. And this is another point which has been on my heart to talk about today. Not quite sure how I got from where I started to where I ended up, but thanks to the help of a little friend up there, he always tends to send me somewhere. But anyway,
Mm-hmm. Can I get a witness?
I started out looking at these mounds from St. Louis, Missouri. these mounds had the bones of giants in them. They wanted to build the arch in St. Louis, which was supposed to be the gateway to the west. So they had to excavate these mounds, they claimed. Inside of these mounds were the bones of giants. It was not just like bones buried in dirt. They tried to make out these people that built these mounds had built these mounds by carrying baskets of dirt over hundreds and thousands of years. Like 30,000 people had nothing better to do than take baskets of dirt and make a hill. Come on, give us something we believe, because that baloney ain't it. And FYI, bologna is just a hot dog in pancake form. But these people, their main hobby was not toting dirt. Come to find out, the actual mounds that they found from old newspaper articles said that these were not just mounds. These were buildings. They were mausoleums and tombs that were built, and the dirt had been put over them, almost like to cover and protect them. Now, these were not just people laid out in the dirt. One of the articles says that 3 of these skeletons were found in this one particular one. They all appeared to be 7.5 to 8.5 foot tall. They had 3 sets of armor with them, along with weapons, one of which, the axe head, was a solid 17-pound chunk of copper. Imagine what kind of man it takes to swing an axe head that's 17 pounds of solid copper. That's a big old boy.
Yes, it is.
He weren't playing no games. But guess what? In the act of science, the Smithsonian Institute come and took all of that stuff away. Guess where it's at today? Missing or lost.
So they say.
Imagine that. So if you want to know why I want to go, when all this goes down, that's one of the places I want to go. I want to go see all the stuff they hide.
I also want to go to the Vatican libraries.
Yes, we have that on the list as well. He has that on our list, Boo Boo.
That's 100% first.
Oh yeah, we're gonna kick the doors off of that place.
So just randomly, I haven't checked like all day, but out of nowhere, this popped up, and it looks like Great Britain is ejecting hereditary nobles from the parliament after 700 years. Like, this hasn't happened
Wow.
in like 700 years. That's kind of weird.
About time to kick some of them vampires out.
This is like exactly what I'm saying. The old world has to die for the new world, you guys.
And we have to stay positive, folks. I know this world is so very heavy right now. We know. Like Shannon and I, y'all know we talk every day and half the day, and I'd probably have more voice if I didn't spend 3 hours a day on the phone with Shannon. My bad. But we be in the greenhouse and we be puff passing, having, those otherworldly thoughts. Big thinking. But the world is heavy. Because Shannon and I say that to each other. And Lisa, we are on the phone with Lisa a good bit now too. Sadly, her life has probably changed because she has been roped into a 3-way conversation with us 2 idiots. We're sorry, Lisa. We love you. It will not get better. Never.
It's only gonna get
It's only gonna get worse.
It's gonna get more wild. Hey, everybody needs a friend like us. And now she gets 2. And it's cool.
Yeah, and we get her
twice for the same price.
Woo. But we are not discount by any means. We are not discount. We just a 2 for 1. We come as a package deal.
Yeah.
The world gets heavy. This information gets heavy. When you really sit down and you get to the end of this book as we're reading, and we realize that they're stealing our children. They're turning them into beef jerky. They are torturing them and bleeding them for the adrenochrome that's within their blood. It gives
Programming them to shoot up schools with more children.
Yep. And that's part of that gate thing and these other programs. They put these subliminal memories in there and then they put triggers in there. And when they need to activate your kid, they just basically kind of whisper in their ear and trigger them and send them off. I mean, that's how good they're getting at this. And they're doing it through video games and through music and through the public education system. I keep saying this phrase, see something, say something, but I'm going to bring this back to biblical terms. When, back in the day, when people were freely giving their children to the god Baal to be sacrificed, it tells you that the fire of the bonfire, which was a bone fire, was burning on the top of the mountain. And as long as that fire was burning, they were sacrificing children. And that would allow them not to be in drought or not to have bad weather. That they were told that that's what they had to do to keep the world functioning and horrible things wouldn't happen. But see, what they didn't understand is there were people in town that knew what was going on and they turned a blind eye. They just kind of ignored it and went on about their life. They're like, that's not us. Those people over there are a little strange. They're not bothering us. They're okay. They're over there. They're kind of strange. You are just as damn guilty as they are. Everybody who knows something about this and is not mad, is not talking to somebody, is not trying to wake somebody else up. We cannot sit here and be quiet. That is how we got where we are. We got to the exact position we are today by keeping our mouths shut, by not saying anything, because nobody was paying attention. We have been letting blind idiots run the train. They are about to run us off the track. And we cannot sit by and say nothing. Whether it be on social media or whether it be going downtown to the courthouse with a piece of poster board that just says, save our children. Be peaceful about it. But say something. A good portion of what's wrong with our world is that children have been abused. And how do I say this? When children are abused, I don't know how it is across the rest of the world, but I do know here in the Deep South, in the Bible Belt, it wasn't talked about. And it was, I actually had somebody tell me, it happens in all families. We just don't talk about it. Oh, yes, we do. Oh, yes, we are. Because I can assure you, whoever you are, wherever you are, if you touch a baby of mine or you touch any baby and I know about it, I'm coming for you. And I'm going to take your scalp. Because it is time that you sick. Dead pedophiles don't reoffend. That's the best thing I can say. I'll just leave that there.
This is a thing too. Why is it that everyone is so easily riled up for the things that they push us to be riled up for? But where's
the outrage?
Instead of these protests, why are we not at these places standing thousands upon thousands like everyone has done with their little signs at these places where they keep these children?
Okay, here's my TV challenge for everybody out there that watches this. If you have not seen The Handmaid's Tale, you need to go watch it. If you've not seen The Handmaid's Tale, you need to go watch it.
Well, here's the thing. Look, we have been conditioned for a very long time through entertainment and programming, which we've talked about extensively over and over, but to accept the sacrifice of our children. And if you don't think so, think of how extremely popular the Hunger Games was. Okay. The Hunger Games, and I brought this up before, but I'm going to bring it up again. All these people gave billions of dollars to watch this movie, to propagate it, to continue the series, to watch children kill each other for the greater good, for the sacrifice of the greater good, over and over. And when the last one came out and it wasn't gory enough because it wasn't like the book, the outrage.
Well,
And I'm
you,
sitting there saying, you guys are upset because it wasn't, the
violent
child
enough.
murder scenes weren't gory enough for you.
You do know that show was based off of a real live island, don't you, Shannon?
Exactly. Well, not just one island, many. There is a called the St. Hubris Club. Look it up, because many of these hunting clubs exist all over the world. But yes, a lot of them in America. There's one that a very interesting Supreme Court judge died at, as a matter of fact.
Well, there's quite a few victims that say that Hillary loved to chase them on golf carts across these clubs.
These are a real big thing. And, now it's all coming out that these, people involved in the, Hell's Hemorrhoids list, that they all went out to, actively fighting zones to hunt people for sport.
Yeah.
Well, that is like, again, nothing, because they have whole clubs where children are the people they are going after specifically. And the Queen of England is notorious for this, by the way. The royals are absolutely notorious for this. This goes back for like hundreds and hundreds of years, this practice. But the fact that it's so prevalent out here and nobody knows about it, just look up the St. Hubris Club.
Well, we've got to spread the word, folks, because I understand that we are all a family and we are all a community, and we here at the Roxy Files and Children of the Most High, and a lot of our other brothers and sisters that are in this crowd every week, we are trying to lead this charge with love, with light, with positivity, and to not fear, because that's what they want. They want you to fear. But standing up for what's right and saying it out loud, that is the opposite of fear. Because I have decided it this way. Everybody listening or know by now, everybody in the club getting tipsy, because Roxy ain't shutting up. I'm not shutting up. I will not be quiet. I will not use the nice words so that everybody feels comfortable. Because that's part of what the problem is now. Everybody has gotten completely too comfortable with getting up, running through Star Sluts, getting a coffee, going off to work, pretending none of this stuff is going on, coming home, cooking dinner, and drooling out on Hulu or Netflix or whatever sad programming you're watching. That's what's wrong with the world. Instead of educating ourselves and opening our mouths about what's going on.
Well, a big part of this is, this is all based off of trauma-based mind control programming.
You can't be mind controlled if you smoke weed. Just saying.
Right? But what they're constantly doing, and it's so much easier now with the technology we have, is they are constantly traumatizing your brain in some way, shape, or form. So you naturally, because it is a natural defense mechanism for survival, you will naturally want to dissociate. So this is where you got to fight that need for dissociation. If you need to go and get away, and because of course this is important, to take time for yourself and to really bring peace and calm into your being, and to face it in a more positive way. It is important to go off in nature and to do those things, but that's not dissociating is ignorance. It is ignoring the situation. It is completely taking yourself out of the situation and immersing yourself in something else to handle said information. But when you do that, you are compartmentalizing your brain, and it is easy for them to access fear, anxiety, and manipulate you into ways that you normally wouldn't behave when under duress. And in what's happening right now in the world is a really, really good example.
It is. This is the point in the world when we can no longer say, "Not my monkey, not my circus," because if we don't start becoming each other's monkeys, these fools are going to keep running the circus on us until they have just killed all of us cattle. So it's time for the damn clowns to stand up and say, we're taking the circus back. Y'all got to go. We not dealing with this no more. This is not what our Father in heaven intended for this Garden of Eden which he set us upon. You have destroyed it. You have put poison in the dirt. You have put poison in the air. You have put poison in our water because you were trying to kill us. Y'all got to go. All of you.
I really suggest that. No, I know I could probably get in trouble for this, and I'm not necessarily telling any of you guys to do this or putting out any suggestions, but I have often thought to myself, I would like to put signs up on McDonald's and other corporations, like Soylent Green ones. And I mean,
Y'all, this is why I said there's going to be a cash app for bail money.
Well,
She's
see,
already trying to talk my loud mouth into
posters.
protesting.
If I do it in posters, it's not actually like damaging any property. They can take it down. I mean, I'm not really doing anything illegal. I'm just putting up a little poster on their property.
Mhm. Y'all see, but when we get in trouble out there, it wasn't Roxy. Shannon instigated it. Just saying.
I wanted to put them up at Disneyland too. There's so many places they need to go.
I want a big old poster that says Minnie and Mickey are incestuous rats. But anyway, we won't go
All
there.
we need to do is blow up a poster of one of their original cartoons of the cheese making. That's all we need.
Ain't it?
They said it themselves.
The world is sick.
Nothing else new.
The world is sick. But we thought we would take tonight to step back and maybe kind of revisit some of this stuff because we are continually trying to, as we go forward and we learn things, we go back and add it to our original investigation or whatever documentation, the receipts. Because Roxy is all about some receipts. Let me tell you, I still got receipts from some fools from the 90s. I don't even know what that receipt is, but evidently it was on a memory card, and I had like packaging taped it to my birth certificate, so it must be important. We got to get an adapter. But I still got receipts from the 90s. I'm still holding secrets from the 80s. I won't never tell. But we not playing this game no more. And I'm not by any means advocating for anybody to go out and do anything rash or create any mischief. I just want everybody to speak up, bring attention to the problem, talk to your family, like just find something casually about Satan's hemorrhoids files that maybe you can bring up that maybe somebody that's not awake might actually be able to see that sliver of a truth. Sometimes all it takes is a spark to wake somebody up.
And here's something else that is a really, really great thing you can do. If you are in an area that has open space, field area, or, a bunch of land that, is open, check it out. sometimes, because you're going to find that a lot of these areas that we overlook on a daily basis are little base camps for these trafficked children. Look around in your surroundings. If you see some things that are suspicious, please do something about it. Not necessarily saying go to handle it yourself, but there are ways to get attention upon those
Be
areas,
observant.
because this stuff is all around us. I mean, even down to the school systems. I cannot tell you how many stories have popped up over the years that you find out there are people in the school systems that are part of trafficking rings and are doing things with our students. Be aware. This stuff is all around us. And this is how we can be active for these kids. I have a friend, okay? Here's a fun fact. I have a friend out here who discovered a small time trafficking situation here in town. She sure did break it all up. It caused a whole big wave of issues within town, because some people who were in high up situations in this town happened to have visited the mobile home park where this had taken place. And these girls were like 12 to 16. Okay. And so she sure did make sure it was broken up and that everybody in town knew, to save her
Well,
butt too. But
well,
she got those girls out of there.
well, that's one of the things. Everybody sees this Epstein stuff, and you hear Epstein and Obama and Gates and all of them. They're involved. They're rich. They're elite. It's not just the elite folks. This stuff happens right on down from the school teachers to the sheriffs to the child protective service workers, people at adoption agencies, doctors' offices, anesthesiologists, dentists. Let me give you a shocking fact before we close this show up tonight. And yes, I know we started on blood and we ended up on a hemorrhoid on an asshole. I apologize, but I'm just so furious about the children. Do you know what Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, fiance, who he left all this money to, do you know what he put her to school through school to do?
Hmm.
She was a dentist. Do you know why she was a dentist?
To
That
be
way, when they stole these children and took them to the island, they had a dentist office set up there so that they could strap these children to that dentist chair and remove their teeth so that they wouldn't bite while they were being tortured. If that doesn't piss you off, you're not angry enough. He put a woman through school to become a dentist to snatch the teeth out of children so that they couldn't bite when they were being tortured for the blood to keep his decrepit vampire rear end alive. If that don't make you mad, you're not angry enough.
This is why I'm saying, why are we not storming the castles, man? I'm so done. I'm ready to storm some castles.
It's time to flip the tables, folks. The time has come. We need to wake up, spread the word, and get some people aware of what's going on. But I think I've been mad about that enough tonight. We'll drop that subject because the more I talk about it, the more I want to go out and
Mhm.
these kids are innocent, man. They can't help themselves, and most of these kids that end up in this situation are runaways, are CPS kids, are kids that have fallen through the cracks of the system. Why do you think in these big inner cities they want all these broken homes and everything else and all these kids running away and on the street? Easy pickings. Nobody's looking for them.
And too, this creates so many broken adults. And it just continues the cycle. It will continue the cycle until we decide to break it.
We are the generations of the chain breakers. We will break this generation. but you have to stay armored. And your tongue is your sword. You can do so many things with the power of the tongue in your mouth and the words that you speak and the intent that you put into those words with the love and the light of our Father. That only through the love of the Most High can we get a solution to helping these children. You got to stay prayed up, and you got to pray for everybody, not just the good people. You got to pray for the bad people too.
Mm.
You got to pray for them that they get better and that they stop this, that they see the light, that they come over to our side. Because we want everybody on the light side that we can get. We need the ones awake, and we need to pray for the bad guys. The people that harm you, the ones that terrorize you or torment you. Pray for them. You ain't got to hate them. That's too much baggage to carry. I had somebody tell me the other day they weren't going to stop until I hated them. Looked them right in their eyes. Said, I'll never hate you. That is too much weight for me to carry for you. I might not like you, but I don't hate you. I will love you and pray for you because that's what Jesus would have done. He would have prayed for him, and I pray for him, and that's all I can do. I'll never hate him. I'm not going to hate anybody. That's not weight or border that I need to carry for them. They need to fix that.
And again, it's what happened to them to put them
in that position where they want to be hated.
Yeah.
It's because they hate themselves. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here, guys. I want to thank you all for coming. We had quite a few in the group tonight. Clayton, I'll expect to see 64 text messages from you before daylight, my friend.
And I hope you looked at the document I sent you. I hope you looked at it.
I'm like 12 text messages behind from Clayton, okay? I've been cleaning house all day. Today is the first day that I had enough energy to get up and feel like I wanted to clean up my house, which had not really been cleaned since before I got sick a little over a month ago. But
well, that's okay. I have a date with Cake, so I'm ready to say goodnight. No.
Well, we're gonna say goodnight. She's on West Coast time. She's still got 3 more. It's at 11:30 my way.
I have cake eating time left.
Yeah, I got to get up at the crack of dawn and put these children on the school bus. But,
it's my birthday.
No, Clayton, don't never be sorry about sending text messages, buddy. Never. I have to at 9:30 my phone goes on mute. So you ain't never bothered me. You send on because I enjoy catching up with him and reading them. Clayton is brilliant, y'all. Sometimes he's way above my pay grade on what I'm understanding. But don't ever be sorry about sending me information, Clayton. Your information is brilliant. But everybody have a wonderful night. Thank you all for coming. Mike, Diana, Clayton, Big E, Drifter, Miss K. Miss K is so sweet. She emails us constantly if she don't see us. Purganation Invitation. We've had quite a few in here. Wayne Payne. I ain't seen Cash lately. I don't know if you out there, Cash, and you ain't speaking up.
I saw Cash in there.
You sure that was Cash or Kent?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Cash, was you in there, boo-boo, and I didn't see you?
I'm pretty sure it was Cash.
I'm looking. Anyway, if he ain't watching right now, he'll be watching later. Hey, Cash. I can't even give Cash his voice. I'm too still broke up.
Yeah, he was in here.
He's probably still here.
Hi, Cash.
He's not big on talking some nights, but he's not. But yep, sleep tight, Diana, Tina. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for coming. We will be back. I know we'll be back next Tuesday, if not before. We tend to get a little spry on the weekends now.
Mm-hmm. We might pop in with maybe a Lisa and a Clayton.
Yeah, we'd be puff passing, and we'd say, "Oh, let's go talk to everybody."
Ooh, that would be fun if Lisa and Clayton could come on at once. Talk about a heavy duty conversation.
One big smoke session, all 4 of us. That would be cool.
What? Let's go.
What? Puff pass. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night. We'll try to get back to you at some point this weekend. Maybe we can get everybody on the same smoke sesh schedule. All right, guys. Good night. We'll see you the weekend.